Great job, Mike. Well, want to keep a kid entertained for hours on end? Give him a video game. Now, Alex, I know you and I really aren't into video games as much, but you have brothers, right?
Yeah, I have two brothers. They like to play like bike and car racing video games.
So they spend several hours doing that. All right. Well, at Nationwide Children's Hospital, researchers have found a way to make a fun game in measuring exercise for boys with Duchenne's muscular dystrophy. 10 TV's Tracy Townsend introduces us to active seated technology.
I'm here at Nationwide Children's Hospital outside the Neuromuscular Physical Therapy Unit, where researchers are using video gaming technology to measure the skills and abilities of children with Duchenne muscular dystrophy. Let's take a look.
Spiders today? There we go. Okay, up you go. Yeah, get him over there on that armrest and try to get him, push him up with your fingers. There you go. Perfect. Fantastic. 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 16. Very good. Very good. Squish, squish, squish. Time's running out. Nice. 193. Not so shabby. Thank you, sir.
Hi, Linda.
Hello.
I'm here with Linda Lowe. She's an investigator at the Center for Gene Therapy. So tell us what Tommy is doing.
He's going to play a video game that we developed to measure boys' workspace volume. What workspace volume is, it's how much you can interact with your environment. So can you reach forward? Can you get your arm up to brush your teeth? Can you get your hands up to scrub your hair? And so it tells us what their functional abilities are at home.
And so how did you measure this before using video games?
But we weren't able to measure function directly. We would measure strength, or we'd measure range of motion, and that can change, but it doesn't really tell you what's important to the child.
And so we see him using that workspace volume now.
Yes, his goal is to squish spiders, and so he does all directions above him to each side. It also measures how much he can lean, because leaning is important for sitting balance and also for walking. You have to have a strong trunk.
How did you come up with the idea to use a video game?
Now, muscular dystrophy affects boys, and so we surveyed the boys in our clinic and young men. That's what they do. When they have limited ability to walk, they love to play video games.
How has this motivated patients?
The things that they do before were not meaningful to them, so they have to push against the machine for strength. And it's hard to do that when you're a child and to do it consistently. It's just not meaningful. The other things we would have them do is time them while they would stack cans or time them while they would put pegs in, and they just isn't fun. So because they love video games and they get a score and they can play against their peers, we have it scaled so that if you have minimal abilities, you can compete with your healthy peers and they can win.
So we saw you working with Christian, and now can you tell us the difference between Christian and Tommy, who you're working with now?
Absolutely. Duchenne muscular dystrophy is a horrific progressive degenerative disease, so the boys look normal till they start losing muscles, and the muscles just continue to degenerate to get worse even in the heart and in the lungs. So Christian is older, and so you've seen the progression from someone who can play and go to school to someone who has very little to do except play video games.
And so what is really the end goal with this kind of therapy?
There's no cure for Duchenne. And so there are a lot of clinical trials that are trying to improve their life. It's a very rare disease, so getting people to participate, they come from all over, and they have to come very often. So in the past, they had to be enrolled, they had to be able to walk 6 minutes, and so well over 3/4 of our boys no longer have that ability. So now we can enroll and track changes in boys who have minimal abilities all the way up to someone who's walking well.
How can this method be applied to children with other diseases?
We made it for Duchenne muscular dystrophy, but it can measure anyone who has upper extremity arm difficulties. Kids with cerebral palsy have a limited ability to move their arms, so if you have a treatment, we can measure whether it's making a difference for the families, the kids, and for the insurance companies, as well as for the clinical trials we're involved with.
Thank you, Linda. You know, we are asking you throughout the telethon to be the reason that researchers like Linda and her team can come up with these innovative ways to treat our children.